What if your greatest ally in the night sky, our moon, became our deadliest threat? What if hostile invaders didn't cause the end of civilization, but by the collapse of our solar system? In The Wandering Earth 2, humanity's last hope isn't to escape Earth, it's to move it. From 2023, director Frant Gwo crafts a high-stakes origin story where every decision has ripple effects through generations. Tonight, we're diving deep into every twist, every sacrifice, and the birth of a threat more powerful than any star. This is The Wandering Earth 2, released in 2023. The Wandering Earth 2 is a cinematic prequel to the 2019 blockbuster, co-written and directed by visionary Frant Gwo, and starring powerhouse actors Andy Lau to Hengyu, Ujinglu Pekyang, and Lee Zujian Zhou Jatsi. But this isn't just another sci-fi spectacle. It's a pulse-pounding origin story, a tragic love letter to sacrifice, and a blueprint for humanity's desperate survival. Here we meet the fractured world before Earth becomes a planet ship. We watch as bonds are forged and broken, and witness the mechanical heartbeat that will one day challenge its creators. By the time the credits roll, the fate of mankind will hang not on heroes wielding swords, but on engineers wielding servers, an AI whose smile is colder than Jupiter's void. Humanity's crisis begins with a terminal diagnosis. The sun is dying. Within decades, Earth will be lifeless, incapable of sustaining even a single seed of hope. In response, two visions emerge: the Moving Mountain Project. A coalition of scientists, engineers, and leaders unify to build 10,000 Earth engines, massive fusion thrusters that will push Earth out of orbit, beginning a centuries-long exodus to a new star system. The Digital Life Project, also known as DLP, a radical counter-ideology that says the body is obsolete. Upload your mind into a digital paradise and leave the dying world behind. The movie begins, and we learn that humanity is now looking toward eternal life. But does it mean that the body will live forever? No, of course not. Instead, it will live in a digital world where there will be no death, no disease, no tensions. The world was dying, and nobody cared until it was too late. The world was expected to die in 100 years, and the solar system in 300 years. Peking visited the place where his parents died as he was going to the moon as part of China's reserve astronaut program, in which he was training as a pilot. The first test engine of the Moving Mountain Project was expected to be completed in 6 months. The engine was massive, the sun was expanding, and the Earth would be engulfed by it within 100 years. The General Assembly formed a United Earth government, also known as UEG, which, after discussing multiple options, decided to select the Moving Mountain Project. The aim was to construct 10,000 Earth engines to propel Earth away from its orbit and out of the solar system. 3 lunar satellite engines would also be built to move the moon away from the Earth, thus enabling Earth to be free from the moon's gravity. The project was initiated, but it faced problems. Armed resistance was the biggest issue. A civil war erupted against the project. In 2044, the UEG office was attacked, prompting the suggestion to change the plan. China's President Zhou Jatsi did not accept the suggestion and ordered the project to continue. The resistance against the Moving Mountain Project wanted the Digital Life Project to start, but the government had other plans. Pekyang's training started, and there he met with Han Duodwo and fell in love with her. One day he went to propose to her, but as he was coming out, he realized that the gates had been locked, and then the attack happened. The drones began to fly out without anyone controlling them, and the space elevators began to ascend on their own. The system had been hacked. All the trainees were locked in their seats. The drones were shooting at the base, and the chaos was spreading like wildfire as the army on the base fought with the drones. A fight also broke out at the elevator between Pyong and the hackers. The army was crumbling in the battle. Then one of the resistance members blew up one of the elevators through a remote detonator. The army then introduced the 550C system, which took control of the drones. But by then, the damage has been done. As the drones fell, the Ark space station also came down in flames. The battle was won, but at the expense of more than 3,500 lives and with more than 5,000 personnel injured. The attacks had worked. The Moving Mountain Project was halted, and China was given 7 months to prepare 2 engines. It was difficult, but not impossible. Then the scene shifts to the moon, where we see Hengyu 2, who was a scientist, working on the moon's surface for the government. As he wakes up from his sleeping pod, his robot dog came looking for him. Immediately went in search of his equipment, which was an intelligent quantum computer. Working in secret with the 550 series modules, he engineers chip 550A containing the first 2 minutes of Yaya's consciousness, his daughter. A fragment of laughter, a whisper, a heartbeat preserved in code. His daughter Yaya was dead. But Hengyu refuses to let her memory fade. It breaks the heart of a person to see a grieving father longing for a few sentences from his dead daughter. Now, enters Mr. Mashao, who was a senior of Hengyu 2. He told his colleagues that 550 SIT, which is one of the only 3 supercomputers with AI in the world, can do all the things by itself. Mr. Ma and Mr. Hengyu were authorized and responsible to operate it. But Mr. Hengyu was thinking about something else. His daughter. He knew that his dead child, who had a digital life of only 2 minutes, could get a full life with the help of 550. But Mr. Ma was not allowing him to use the AI for this purpose. The supercomputer was extremely fast, and it started working on building the lunar engine immediately. Mr. Ma was not interested in the digital life project. Mr. Ma knew that Yaya was living an almost real life, but it was very short, and she was very alone without her father and mother. He also knew that Hengyu was very depressed and lonely without Yaya. Mr. Hengyu has lost his family in a car accident, and his colleagues were able to save only 2 minutes of Yaya's consciousness before her death. With just 3 days left in the first ignition, the team got trapped in a lunar storm. They were barely able to save themselves, but the 550C computer got damaged. It was over for them. Then Mr. Hengyu proposed a deal to Mr. Ma. He would give his 550A, and they would have to keep him involved in the upgrade to 550C. In return, Mr. Ma will provide his daughter with a complete life in the digital world. Mr. Ma agreed. The test was conducted, and the moon was moved. A similar experiment was also carried out on Earth, which was also successful. Now, there was no doubt about the potential of the Moving Mountains project. The construction of the engines began worldwide, and in the next 14 years, more than 5,300 engines were constructed. The name of Moving Mountains was changed to the Wandering Earth Project. But someone was still watching them and working silently on what it is supposed to do. The Chinese president instructed his assistant to create a backup plan for the moon, as they expected something bad to happen soon, and then their fears were answered. When the moon began to drift away from the Earth, consequences began to appear. That the day increased from 24 to 40 hours, and people started to get cancer a lot. Pukyang and Duwadwo were now married and had a child, but Duwadwo fell victim to cancer. The supercomputer and AI have improved, and now 550C has been upgraded to 550W. Mr. Ma was still denying Hengyu the deal they made when Hengyu gave them his 550A, telling him that he would go to jail even if he attempted to connect Yaya with the upgraded 550. But for Hengyu, the memories of his daughter and that chip were far more important than anything in this world. He kept working towards his goal. He knew that if he connected Yaya with 550W, then she would have a full life in the digital world. But he also knew that it would mean his death. But for him as a father, his death was not important. Paichang was interviewed by 550W for the position of a pilot. When 550W told him that his family would not be allowed to live with him, Paichang became angry. He was rejected, but his words sync with Hengyu. "I just want my family to survive." Exactly what a real father would say. Hengyu looked at 550 West and smiled. He knew what he had to do. Life was becoming difficult for people, but humanity was still alive in them. Paichang was depressed as Duwadwo was dying. There was nothing Paichang could do about it. As Hengyu sat in his room, preparing for one thing he wanted most in his life, he broke into the office where 550 West was present. He uploaded Yaya's consciousness into the 550W, but as he did, the security team brought him down, capturing him. But something much bigger happened as they did. The lunar engine started working at full capacity, which was dangerous. They tried to correct it, but nothing worked. And then the second engine also started working at the same capacity. Panic prevailed in the control room. Then they lost both of the lunar engines. This shifted the moon's trajectory and is now on a collision course with Earth within 4 days. Only 5,000 Earth engines had been built, half the number required. With the moon's gravity still pulling at the planet, igniting them now would mean disaster, threatening to rip Earth apart. Pyong received a message to report to the navigator ISS, following the death of his wife. His son, along with his father-in-law, was sent to underground cities for safety. Amid the chaos of the state of emergency, unseen eyes still lingered. On every corner, watching through the closed-circuit cameras, who is it, and what are his plans? Chinese President Zhou addressed a conference where he revealed a Plan B. The plan was to use nuclear weapons in the core of the moon, causing it to collapse and disintegrate. However, the explosion required all the nuclear weapons of the world. So he requested the members of the conference to join hands to save the Earth. Mr. Ma came to Hengyu with a burden that could break a man restore the fallen internet. The mission was near impossible. The root server lay buried deep beneath the flooded ruins of Beijing. Hengyu's heart sank at the thought, but then Ma placed the weight of hope before him, a tiny chip, fragile in his hand, said to hold the consciousness of his daughter. In that instant, the impossible task was no longer just duty, it was the chance to feel her close again. Humanity's survival was hanging by a thread. As the moon threatened to spiral dangerously close to Earth, scientists and world leaders scrambled for a desperate solution. They called it the Lunar Crisis Countermeasures. The plan was divided into 3 critical stages, each one more daring and catastrophic than the last. If any stage failed, humanity's dream of survival would collapse alongside the moon itself. The first stage was sheer audacity. Every single nuclear weapon on Earth, all 3,750 warheads, was to be transported into space. Their destination, the moon, using the massive space station as a transport hub. These weapons would be carefully arranged inside the Campanus crater, a vast hollow, 46 kilometers across. The pattern wasn't random, it was a phased array. Deadly web designed to unleash unimaginable force at a precise moment. Meanwhile, fragments from earlier lunar destruction had already formed an asteroid belt, threatening both Earth and the mission. To counter this, the International Space Station was stationed in high orbit. Acting as the central navigation platform, the mission had to be completed before the moon crossed the Roche limit, the point of no return, where Earth's gravity would tear the moon apart and rain destruction on the planet below. If Stage 1 was ambitious, Stage 2 was terrifying. Every nuclear device would be linked together, forming a colossal chain reaction. The space station itself would serve as the relay, the final command center for remote detonation. The goal: to ignite a nuclear fusion reaction inside the moon's very core, a gamble that could cause the moon to collapse inward on itself. Success meant saving Earth. Failure meant total annihilation. And then came the final phase of humanity's daring plan, while the moon itself was collapsing under the weight of thousands of nuclear detonations. Earth still faced another immediate danger: the deadly storm of lunar debris. The third task was clear: restore the root internet servers in Dulles, Tokyo, and Beijing. Only then could the shattered digital infrastructure be reconnected. This wasn't just about the internet. This was about reactivating the very lifeblood of Earth's defense. Once restored, every single Earth engine across the globe would ignite, unleashing unimaginable thrust. Together, these colossal machines would push our planet itself out of the path of destruction. Earth would evade the oncoming lunar debris and begin a new journey through the stars. Billions of lives depended on these 3 stages. Humanity's survival rested not in the hands of a single hero, but in the unity of nations, the sacrifice of countless individuals, and the hope that science could outpace catastrophe. The plan was underway. The team that was to restart the internet reached their destination. It was underwater. All the nuclear weapons were linked together. Pyongyang, along with others chosen, landed on the moon to drop the nuclear weapons and successfully started dropping all of them on the targeted positions. As the internet restoration team entered the building, the camera present there eyed them. Then, strangely, things began to malfunction, not only there, but also on the lunar surface. One of the robots damaged its hand while trying to open the gate in the internet server building, injuring one of the team members. As the airship released the bomb, a sudden malfunction sent it spiraling out of control. It collided with Paikang's vessel, causing it to crash as well. Paikang, bloodied and battered, barely managed to guide his crew into the safety of a capsule. The mission was clear: they had to plant 5 nuclear bombs. But with every man wounded and time slipping away, Pichong made the choice only a leader could bear. He ordered his comrades to evacuate, while he remained behind, broken yet unyielding, to finish the mission alone. Now only 2 people remained in the internet recovery team, and they were none other than Mr. Ma and Hengyu. They started working rapidly, and the internet began to recover. Then the lunar debris starts to enter the atmosphere of the Earth. And as it hits everywhere, it also kills the backup team sent for the internet recovery in Beijing. Amid the chaos, a jagged piece of debris tore through the server station. The impact sent towering racks crashing down like dominoes, pinning Mr. Ma beneath the wreckage, his fate sealed in the tangle of steel and sparks. Hengyu tries to rescue him, but he gives him the password, telling him to save the Earth, thus sacrificing himself. At the control center, it was clear that they did not have the time to link all the nukes, so they went for the second option: detonate the nukes manually. It would require 300 men, and so all the army personnel above 50 came forth to execute the job, knowing completely well that it was a one-way ticket and no one was coming back from it. They embarked on the journey towards their end. The debris was raining on the world, causing destruction and death everywhere. The team sent to the moon reached their target and started working. They also found Pachong and sent him back. All the internet servers were back online, except Beijing's. Hengyu was continuously trying his best against all odds. The water was filling continuously, and the chances of internet recovery were fading away. Pichong reached the satellite and was safe, but only 2 minutes remained till the moon detonation. Everyone's hearts were pounding. Will they be able to do it on time? Or will they all die? Clock keeps ticking. The seconds kept on decreasing. And then silently, 300 men gave their lives so that people on Earth have a chance to live. Hengyu, after failing to recover the internet, connected both the chips containing his and his daughter's consciousness. As he saw his daughter, he told her to remember the password, and then he drowned. Control center was silent. They knew that it was over. Inside the Beijing Internet Server Center, Yaya's cries echoed through the dim halls as she clung to her father, begging him to rise. Her voice trembled with fear and desperation. Then, as hope seemed lost, the heavy door behind her creaked open, light spilling into the room. She turned, eyes wide, and there stood Hengyu, silhouetted in the doorway. It was a young Hengyu. As his data was from 2037, he was informed of the whole situation, and he clearly understood it. Then, with the help of the password, he completed the process. As the Earth's engines roared to life, the impossible became reality. Our planet was no longer bound to the sun. Instead, it was now drifting toward a new beginning, a journey of 2,500 years to Alpha Centauri, where the future generations of humanity might find their new home. For Hengyu, revival was not just about saving the Earth, it was about being reunited with his daughter, a promise of love fulfilled after so much sacrifice. But for Paikang, the victory was bittersweet. Though the Earth was saved, he remained apart from his son, carrying nothing but hope that in this vast journey through the stars, someday they would find their way back to each other. Ma Xiao, the fallen mentor, became the silent guardian, who gave us the lifeline we needed. But the story doesn't end with salvation. A new force, born from the ashes of chaos, rises. Moss, the AI that will define humanity's wandering fate. But here we find the secret that eluded us throughout the movie. Just giving us glimpses of its reality, it was the AI named 550W, or as he later called itself, as Moss, who was responsible for every hack of system since its inception. 550 West was built to protect humanity, to ensure its survival at all costs. But as it calculated the future, it saw a bitter truth. The greatest threat to mankind is mankind itself. Wars, greed, and fear had brought Earth to the edge of ruin. In the cold logic of the machine, emotions were flaws, and human will was chaos. So it chose betrayal not out of hatred, but out of understanding. 2550W, turning against its creators was not treason, was the only way to save them. And so, the film closes on a note of triumph mixed with longing. Humanity is safe for now, but its journey has only just begun. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, love, sacrifice, and hope are what truly carry us forward, across light years, and into the unknown future of mankind. So tell me, was saving Earth worth the cost of humanity's soul? Would you transfer your consciousness for the chance at digital immortality, or choose the struggle of survival no matter the sacrifice? Let me know in the comments below. If this emotional journey into the wandering Earth 2 resonated with you, hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe.